Oh, welcome back.
Welcome. Thank you. How are you, Walter?
Malachem, where you been?
Oh, on and off, it's been very challenging for me because the hours that you end up learning are hours where I'm either helping with cooking, I'm taking care of my grandchildren, so it makes it a little bit of a tsuris for me.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Okay. So anyway, nice to see you, George.
It's a pleasure. How are
If you
you?
if you have some extra time, you can come to my house and cook a little bit if you want.
Oh, please, absolutely.
I'm good. I'm good, thank you. I haven't seen you in a while.
Anyway, if it's all Baruch Hashem, you know.
Just living in a crazy world, aren't we? Crazy world.
You know what? Every single day gets a little bit more mishugi.
But big time, man, big time. Big time.
I thought that Kamala Harris coming out and saying what she said at the time that Netanyahu had just delivered his tremendous speech at the House of Representatives was the exact wrong message. The exact wrong message.
I agree.
You know?
I agree. What can we do? We're living in a crazy, it's just crazy. And today also, it is crazy a little bit. So,
Yep.
yep. Okay. Okay. Ernie, we have a guest. George,
Thanks a lot.
I missed you. What can you say? What can I say?
Oh, I love it.
I don't hear any of that Spanish with Mario.
Don Mario, tenemos que hablar español.
Yeah. All right, Ernie.
We are on 39, Lamed Tes. Tonight we're doing Navi. It's at 8:15, just to remind everybody.
If I can, I'll come back on. Yeah.
Okay. So we're talking about the process by which somebody protests somebody squatting on his land, called macha. And we talked about if you do it in front of witnesses. What if you tell the witnesses, Amar lo temru le'mai? You say to the witnesses, don't tell him that I protested. Amar Zvid, fine. Hakar lo temru le. Fine, they shouldn't tell. Rav Papa Amar l'didei lo temru le. Lakwina imru. To the guy who's squatting, don't tell, but to others you can tell. And therefore, chavrecha chavri isleim. Those people have friends, and chavri chavrecha chavri isleim. Those friends have more friends. And it'll get back.
It'll spread.
And it'll spread, exactly. The key is he will find out one way or the other. If the people who hear the macha say, we're not going to tell the guy, do they have to report it to other people? We treat it as if there was no protest. But Rav Papa Amar, their kavana was l'didei lo amrin and lachrini amrilu. When they said that means they're not going to tell the guy himself, but they'll tell others. And we will use like what George said, the rumor mill. Chavrecha chavre islay, v'chavrecha islay, so it'll eventually get to him. Amr luhu, the owner who is protesting the squatter says, lo tepuk l'chushuta. This should not come out of your mouth. I don't want anyone to be informed. Fine. They follow his instructions. And Rav Papa would be moide. If they say we're not going to reveal it to anybody, Rav Papa, fine. But Rav Huna B'Rei Yeshua Amar, Kol Milsa Del Rami Alei Deinish. If a person is not sort of sworn to secrecy, he's eventually going to say it. without him really realizing. He's going to forget this promise. And eventually it's going to be found out. Even though the Eidim said they're not going to spread it, we assume it's going to be spread because they're not going to be keeping the secret because they were sort of not sworn to secrecy. Rav Nachman. One guy is in New York and the other guy's in Los Angeles, and the guy in Los Angeles protests, it's considered a machal. It's considered a good protest. It doesn't have to be in the same locale. Why did they say that the period of time that a person has to sit in a field and eat fruit is 3 years? Let's say the original owner is in Spain and the piece of land is in Israel. And Charlotte, Dahlia. The owner is in Spain, the squatter is in Israel. He's eating for a year, and it's going to take a year for people to travel from Israel to Spain to tell him. And it's going to take him a year to come back, to take possession of his field. However, if a protest can work, even though you're not protesting to his face, why do you need him to come? Let him stay in Madrid, let him protest, and the protest is effective. Let him stay there and protest. So the Gemara says, that would work. But here, we're also giving the guy good advice that the Nesiv Nishkal Arapeh, let him come and physically take possession of this piece of land that belongs to him, and also all the payers that were eaten. Now, Rav Nachman, the fact that Rava asked Rav Nachman this question, Michlal de los Virale, it seems like he does not hold Shemachosh Labafan of Avimacha. He does not hold that protest that's done from a distance is a good protest. But we have a statement of Rava, Rava, Machosh Labafan of Avimacha. He holds it is a good protest. So it's not a kasha. Basar Shasham and Rav Nachman, Sav. He changed his mind. Once he heard from Rav Nachman that protest from a distance works, he changed his mind. Ashkechina Rav Yosef Rechanina, Talmid of the Rav Yochanan. Rav Yosef Rechanina met up with the students of Rav Yochanan. Armelumi, Rav Yochanan Macho Bekamo. What is ideal when you do a protest not in front of the squatter? How many people should you protest in front of? Rav Chia Bar Rav Yochanan Macho B'fnei Shnai. 2 people. Rav Avo Rav Yochanan Macho B'fnei Shloisha. You need 3. And Lema, that they're arguing in this topic of Rabbi Baravuna Kamifli. The Amar Rabbi Baravuna, Kol Milsa de Misamra Bape Tlosa. Anything that is stated in front of 3 people, Lesba Mishum Lish Nabisha. It is taken out of the category of Lashon Hara. If you say it in front of 3 people, it's not something that's being kept secret. It's considered to be public knowledge. And therefore, it's not Lashon Hara. Now, Manda Amr B'fnei Shnayim, the one who says that you can protest in front of 2, less late, Rabbi Ravuna, that once you say it in front of 2 people, it's also considered as if everybody knows about it. Manda B'fnei Shloisha is late, Rabbi Ravuna. Maybe, in fact, the machlokes, the nakud of the machlokes is this issue. Lo, where it says Kulam Islud Rabbi Ravuna. Really, everybody holds that saying something in front of 3 takes it out of Lashon Hara, and it's not out of 2. So what's the machlokas 2 versus 3? The one who says that it's enough to protest in front of 2 people, ksavar, protesting not in the presence of the squatter is not a protest. You got to do it in front of him. Now, if you have 2 eidim, that's enough, because you can prove it in Bezdin that you protest. The one who says 3 holds that even if you protest not in front of him, it's a protest. So 3 will spread it more than 2. Really, everybody holds that a protest not in front of somebody is still a protest. And why 2 versus 3? You need edus. And through edus, the protest will reach the ears of the squatter. You need to spread the word. And spreading the word will not be with 2. 3 will spread the word. Gidel bar Manyumi had to protest something. Somebody was squatting in his field, and he wanted to protest. These 3 Amayroim were sitting. And he protested in front of the 3. Now, next year, he came back and he protested again. So they said to him, you already protested last year. You already protested last. So therefore, that has prevented the squatter from squatting for 3 years without protest. You protested last year, that's enough. However, Ikdi Amri, once you protested in the first year, you don't have to protest again. At the end of 3 years, you got to protest, because you don't want 3 consecutive years to go by without protest. So Toiba Rav Yochanan wondered, every 3 years, you have to come and protest in front of this guy to sort of minimize his chazaka? Once the guy already did a protest, and he said that the karka doesn't belong to the guy, he's a gazlan. Why would his presence in the field prove anything? So afraid the Gemara, gazlan salkadaitik? What? We're not sure he's a gazlan. Maybe he has a star. This guy's protesting, so they have a debate in court. We don't know who's correct. Why are you giving him, why are we telling him that he's a gazlan? Ella, rather, this is what Rav Yochanan was wondering about. Ki gazlan yesh lo chazaka? That means, can somebody who was a squatter and somebody protested against him that he's not the rightful owner, can such a person establish chazaka? So Amarava Hilchasa, Tzarech Limchos B'Sof Kol Shofar Sholish. The din is that yes, he can establish chazaka. Therefore, a person has to protest every 3rd year at a minimum. Otherwise, he could lose his field. Tani Bar Kapora, air. A guy came and questioned the ownership. And he did it again the next year. Chaz of Eira. If he's just repeating the same claim, then ein lo chazaka. The squatter is going to lose his chazaka. The imlav, but each time the one who's protesting the squatter comes up with a different claim, then yesh lo chazaka. Since the guy who's protesting the guy in the field is changing his reasoning each time, the prior claim is batel. So he has to do a new one. Okay. We'll stop here. So again, Tomorrow, the Daf Yomi will be at 8:15, and tonight the Navi Shir is at 8:15.
Okay, shkoyach, Ernie.
Everybody.